us in the goodness of so many people around us. Light came into the darkness when those at Cougar and Husky made valiant efforts, made available their resources in any way they could. There was light when the search and rescue crews in their valiant efforts searching the ocean from hovering above the sky or on the waters itself. There was light when the chaplains listened to the families who had gathered with the RCMP and other officials. All of this is light in the darkness. And light came when families began to gather. When families begin to gather, the telephones inform people, whatever, families begin together. For what reason? To cry together, to listen to each other, to hold each other, to touch each other, sometimes perhaps even to laugh together. Neighbors would phone or send a text message. Friends offered support from all across the province and all across this country. To hear that voices and know that people care for you is light in the darkness. Because as people show each other help, that is light. People gathered by their radios and their television to listen to the news of the recovery efforts for the bodies. These bodies were found and brought up. That was light too. I will have an end. I will have a place to go to visit him. Prayers are offered in churches and synagogues and mosques, asking God to bring peace to the living and eternal rest to the dead. Some people express their grief and bring light by bringing flowers. Each of us needs to grieve in our own way. Each of us needs to fight the sadness in our own lives. Each of us needs to search for the light in our own way. Tragedy is no stranger to those who make their life from the sea. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are hard-working people attached to the ocean. For years they fished off the coast of this province. They sailed down to the Labrador and out to the Grand Banks. And many a Newfoundlander and Labradorian lies buried in a watery grave. Today, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians man many of our Navy ships far beyond the numbers. Wherever there is water, wherever there's ships, Newfoundlanders are found sailing the seas. In the last number of years, when the offshore became a reality, it's hard and dangerous work. But these hard-working and hardy people always have gone away, always have done what was necessary to earn their living and provide for their families and loved ones. This tragic loss of life, will be told in song and story from generation to generation, as our ancestors have shared stories with us. When we hear the stories of the past, it gives us hope that life will go on, but we know it will be changed and will never be the same. Because we are a faith-filled and caring people here in this province, the light of Christ had always come back into our lives. At this time, we perhaps may be feeling new emotions. Perhaps we may have fear for the future. But let us continue to love and pray, because that same Christ who walked with the disciples on the road to Emmaus walks with us and will bring light back into our lives. Many of us will depart here tonight with heavy hearts. Many of us will depart here tonight wondering about the future. Many of us will continue to support the families. And sometimes we shake our head and say, I can't go on. What will I do? I remember reading the poem by Robert Frost. And he says, after a long life, in 3 words, I can tell you all that I've learned about life. It goes on. My dear people, in 3 words, I can tell you all that I've learned about life. It is changed in difference, but life goes on.